And this is the meeting of the Wolfeboro Budget Committee at the Wolfeboro Public Library. Tonight we're going to go over estimated revenues, the default budget, warrant article, final budget review. Other business includes the annual town report, the final draft, budget presentation discussion, meeting schedule. Then we're also going to go over some minutes. To adjourn in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now I'll now open the meeting up to public comments. Our friends from the American Herald, Post 18 and the Legion have given us each a document for you folks to review. And gentlemen, if you want to tell us a little bit about what you like.
I'm sorry?
If you'd like to tell us a little bit what you were requesting, what you would like.
Yes, I've given you a cover letter. I'm presenting as past commander, adjutant finance officer for probably since 2003. And our new finance officer, Jim Shannon here. The American Legion, Carmen Hill Post Legion, probably is the oldest community organization in Wolfeboro. Since its origin, when the Wolfeboro veterans of World War I of the American Legion were adopted by the Wolfeboro camp of the GAR, which was the Grand Army of the Republic, at their building on Depot Street. I want to present a partial history that has been prepared for our town grandfathers for some time. I'm not going to read it, it's attached, but at some point it was requested by our selectmen, I assume, but I pulled it out of our archives. We understand the financial problem that's occurring, and we wish to submit a revised budget, bring our request to what it was in 2024. The line entry approval and everything else is attached. We are currently resubmitting a request for $11,236 instead of the original one from last year.
Jim, do we have any money in this year's budget now for these folks? Anything included in this budget at all?
Yes.
The proposed budget that you have in front of you right now for this agency is $8,690. And they are looking for, if I'm understanding them correctly, $11,236.
John, I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to motion that we increase line item 45,831, 830 by $2,546, bringing it up to the level funding of $11,236.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? I just got a quick question for you gentlemen. Do you understand what the motion is? That'll bring
Yes.
you up to
Yes,
the...
sir.
Okay, so you all good with that? That'll get things done for you?
Been through this before.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah. What is this going to help you acquire or help you
This will be
do?
basically replacing the flags in the towns, at the cemeteries, public building, and maintaining the hardware on the poles.
Right, we currently put 2,251 flags on all the veterans' grave sites with the help of the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. That comes to high eights, maybe just under $9,000, and then we take care of all the public flags we do it twice a year. We talked about just doing it once a year, trying to cut back a little bit of the money. And that also included in that is the cost of the parade that we've run for 105 years. I understand. We met with Justin. We talked about an ad hoc committee, getting all the groups together and coming up with a plan, coming up with a way to raise some funds to go above and beyond what the parade typically would cost the town. And we're all for that. We're all for that. We even discussed the flags coming into town, how over the years they've kind of broken and fallen and we haven't really replaced them, but we talked as a group of possibly taking that responsibility on also. But this is the bare minimum of what we can get by with to continue on with the tradition of the flags at the grave sites for Memorial Day and to continue on with the parade at the current rate.
And if you look at the history that was presented at some time, we started doing this in 1920.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, Elaine, can you do a roll call? This is to increase the Legion's budget by $2,546.
Brian DeShays,
Yes.
Bob Tuff.
Yes.
Bob Mulholland.
Yes.
Bob Lohman. Oh, I didn't, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Justin Brown.
Yes.
Bob Lohman, Tom Bell.
Yes.
Brian Black.
Yeah.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Susan Ryan.
Yes.
Bobby Budman.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you for coming in,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much, gentlemen.
Okay, any other public comment from anyone? Seeing none, we'll move on to estimated revenues.
Okay, estimated revenues. So you have a document in front of you this evening that's in Excel format. Gone through, provided a conservative estimate for the 2026 estimated revenues. If you look at this sheet, column 1 is 2025 budgeted revenues. Column 2 is actually received through January 8th, 2026. Column 3 is the preliminary revenues, which I've plugged in. Column 4 is a differential between the preliminary revenues and the revenues received to date. If this committee has any changes tonight, they'll go into column 5, and then column 6 would be when we go and update the revenues in October for tax rate setting. These revenues in the amount of $5,313,750 on the general fund are used to offset taxes. So there's that. And then you go to the last page. The last page has a breakout of the enterprise funds for the 2026 proposed operating budget. These do not include capital items as well. I can try to answer questions you may have, but I'm probably going to have to take your question and research it and get you a more accurate answer.
What do we have for questions? Bob?
Yeah, just one quick one on the very first property taxation estimate. Is there some reason why the 2026 preliminary revenue look-see is less than what we're looking at in 25?
Yeah, so the way that this formula works is you take the operating budget and you subtract out the estimated revenues. Interestingly, one of the items here is our proposed budget for 2026 is less than the proposed budget for 2025, which is the number that you're seeing there in this form is the 2025 proposed number, which is in the DRA portal.
You may have mistaken what I was just looking at the first line, the property taxation estimate. That's it, just that first line.
Mhm.
Oh, that has to do with budget? That's just not the income
No,
coming in?
so we take and we have $20,406,000 right now of taxation.
Right.
Then you back out the revenues in the amount of $5,313,000, and that gives you what you're using to set the tax rate going forward. That's why it's all preliminary.
Gotcha. Now I understand. Thank you.
You bet.
John?
Yes, sir.
Jim, I actually think this is terrific. I noticed, well, one item here, motor vehicle registrations, $2,050,000. I seem to remember when we were sitting somewhere around 1.4, 1.5 million for motor vehicle registrations. And Jim, the last thing you brought up is the other thing I noticed, which I think is terrific. We got a budget that's 35 plus million or close to 36 million. And the way this is mapped out, of all of that money, only 15 million and 92,000 or 93,000 has to be raised by taxation. And I think that's terrific. That's it for me.
All right, Bobby?
Just a few, thanks for asking about the motor vehicle. The other one is the grants is a pretty large reduction. What was did we lose a grant, or was something reneged on, or what was that?
Yeah, so the grants, I know right now of one grant that I feel very comfortable that we are going to be receiving. That's what that number represents.
Okay.
Traditionally, we'll also see other grants which may come in. I can't remember what these 398 are, Bobby, at this point, but I can do a little research and find out.
Okay, and then the other couple that stand out is obviously donations. I would think that our donations would be up this year. I feel like everybody's kind of rallied around the town in really positive ways. But seeing the library down by that much money, but the miscellaneous, could you tell us what the miscellaneous donations are that are normally we receive that we're missing out on this year?
Yeah, I will have to do some research on that as well, Bobby. This one, I basically took and used the matrix of, okay, this is what we've received, this is what was estimated, and found a happy medium. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on that one to find out the particulars of the miscellaneous grant line.
Okay, and then my last question is, I'm not seeing the meals and rooms tax on here. Could
It's
you
in the front.
tell me where that one is?
First page, yeah.
What line?
So that, where is it? I just saw it.
It's about right in the middle.
All right, and
Right dead in the middle.
Right dead in the middle. Oh, there's the
620,000.
629. Okay, just, I know we had to fight this year for it. Do we have any idea if we're gonna have to, again, this coming year, fight the state to get our meals and rooms tax, or are they, is that one of the things that'll be absorbed that we're going to have to pick up the difference on? Do we know yet?
I don't know. I believe that, and I may be wrong, but I believe that they came to an agreement for 2 years.
2 years.
I believe.
Okay.
I can get more information on that.
Part of the state budget, Jim.
Huh?
It's part of the state budget.
Part of the state
For
budget.
this year, so we're okay for 2026?
Yeah.
But then 2027, it'll be reconsidered?
If someone puts a bill in to change it, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Tom?
Jim, are the grants primarily state, or is there some federal in there?
There's some federal grants.
From another organization I'm involved in, federal grants went on hold in terms of the government shutdown. They combined two different organizations into one, and it's been a bit of a chaos, so it may get picked up.
Yeah, so there are
next year
some
comes.
still some grant processes that are happening, specifically around one that we are watching, is for staffing with the ambulance project and purchasing of an ambulance. Those are two grants that are actively being evaluated every week. They're issuing grants every week, but right now we have not been awarded anything, so I can't
Right.
plug anything in.
Yeah, they're slow.
Paul?
Just on the grants, Jim, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. You don't book an estimated revenue on grant until you know you're in the best and final. Otherwise, we'd be estimating, it would be like a sales contest. And then the second thing is just a question, John, for maybe the committee. We're going to fight for the rooms and meal. I'm not, as a select board member, I'm not familiar we were gonna fight for anything. What were we fighting for?
Earlier in the year,
Yeah,
When
earlier in 2025.
you guys actually had a discussion on your board at one of your meetings for it. There was a little contention, I want to say it was April or May, where the state was considering holding back on those fees. And I think maybe Select Member DeShays was the one who suggested writing a letter and reaching out to actually Representative McDonald to help push for that. But it's back in your meeting minutes somewhere
It's,
you
you
can
know,
go
it's the
through.
fog of my memory, but I don't remember a fight.
Yeah.
As I recall, again, it was a few months ago, that we weren't gonna lose the money, we were gonna get the same that we got paid last year,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which the way these figures, it might have been a better deal.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not, I wasn't picking at you, Bobby, I was just picking at the word fight.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
remember,
It was
Putting on the boxing gloves and going at it. That's all.
I apologize. I
No, that's
used
all
the
right, I
word
just want to
fight.
understand.
Jim, I got a couple of questions. No timber tax from anybody with all this cutting going on? Do we see all throughout town?
I mean, like I said, year to date, they've spent $428. I can double check with the,
Okay, 'cause mine's showing
Collector's
0,
office.
timber tax, yield tax.
They had timber tax. They had timber tax.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one.
They had intent to cut permits.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where that is on
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You're just one line down, John. You're looking at see the timber yield tax, oh, that's interest. No, I'm on.
Yeah, I mean, I
Where is that?
estimated this conservatively. I can check with the assessor's office. As you alluded to, we budgeted 0 in '25. Through the end of the year, the change use tax was 93. Timber tax, we estimated 5,000, we've received nothing. So I can find out what's going on there.
Okay, and then on the commercial vessel landing fee, that's down almost $1,500, and I thought there was some talk about increasing that this year.
Is that line 901, John?
Yes.
Yeah. 901 on the front page. It's about a
Third of the
third of the
way.
way down. Commercial vessel landing fee, line 901.
Does that include,
It does include the Libby. I'm just trying to find it, sorry.
it's a third of the way down the page, front page.
Building permits, commercial vessel landing, dog licenses.
It's right before dog licenses. So the only fee that we have a hard and fast number on right now is landing fees at the Libby. The select board is in the process, Brian, tell me if I'm wrong, of reestablishing, clarifying, whatever the right word is, other fees for other vessels at the town docks.
Okay, so this could go up.
Could, maybe.
Yeah, bass tournaments. I don't know, are we gonna charge,
Well,
we haven't figured that out yet. Because some towns charge fees for fishing tournaments that
Yeah.
happen.
The only thing that's hard and fast is the fee at the meeting.
Okay, Bobby?
So on that same issue, did, you guys had one person with a permit that hadn't paid yet? Is that part of this lower
They were
number, or
all
have they
paid.
paid?
Okay,
I'll take.
They're all paid,
everybody's
thanks.
paid. That we know of.
Yes, Suzanne?
Yeah. Payment in lieu of taxes, question. Is it because we don't receive anything until 26? That's a zero? And can you address how that works?
I believe we have 2 locations, which,
One is a solar farm. The one with that's also a grazing farm for animals.
And I think the electric company also does that.
Correct. It's Barry.
as far as a number, I will double check with the assessing office.
Thank you.
John and Jim? That, there is a proposal from Linda to us through you to deal with the 26 payment in lieu of taxes number. It should come up shortly. We haven't voted on it.
Okay.
John, I have one. Parks
sir.
and Recs donations from 35,000 to 1,500 from one year to the next.
Jim, would that be Abenaki, funded Abenaki? In there?
I have another question when it's okay.
Yeah. I think, Jim, you're working on something?
So, I mean, it was estimated at 35,000, we received 1,500, I budgeted 1,000. I can't go back and, I could go back and pull what that $35,000 in 2025 was, but right off the top of my head, I can't remember. I'm gonna guess that it probably had something to do with running the power up
Yes,
Abenaki.
That's what I thought.
Suzanne?
Question, land use change tax, if memory serves me, Conservation Commission gets a % of that, if I've got the right one. So is this the total amount minus, or is this minus their %? I don't
I'll-
need the number,
I'll look
I
into
just
it.
like it checked.
Jim, I can answer that. The commission receives 100%.
Any other questions on the estimated revenues?
Well, I don't need the number tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, if we're all set on the revenues, we'll move on to the default budget.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
So the starting point of the default budget in the New Hampshire DRA portal is $33,858,044. That is an increased number compared to what you will see, or what you saw in last year's proposal of the default budget. And the reason is when that warrant is approved, the monies associated with the collective bargaining agreement for 2025 get pulled in to bring this up that amount. Then we have to go in and then we have to estimate out all of the increases incrementally for the various departments, mostly based on collective bargaining, contract changes, the half a year of staffing with the fire department, the 9 months of deputy chief, and the reduction of debt service. All that gets punched into this. You can see the increases or reductions. So the actual increase in the total budget proposal for default is $185,603.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I had someone ask me about the default budget, and I said, have you got 5 hours? The thing of it is, in the town report, and it goes on the ballot, at 33,650,000 and change. So what you just said, there's no way I can explain that to someone why it is almost 200,000 more. So well, you said it's 185,000 more. Did you not?
So,
I mean, people see that on the ballot, that number. And I don't understand why that number isn't reflective of how you just explained it. Why aren't those things included in this number at that time?
so the collective bargaining agreement wages for 2025 are automatically rolled in when it's approved by the voters. So you have the first default budget number, that is the 33.6, right? I think that was the number you read off. The warrant article for the collective bargaining agreement automatically rolls in because it's wage-related exclusive, and it automatically rolls into the default budget calculation, bringing it up to the 33.8. Which is, you look at the back page, page 5, down at the bottom, total operating budget appropriations, 33,855, or 858,044. That number represents 2025 plus those collective bargaining agreements. Then we have to go through each individual warrant article and pull the items out, such as 6 months of the new fire EMS staff, 9 months of the deputy chief, and that is it. And then the reductions of the debt service.
And we don't know that at the time you put the ballot together?
The 2026 ballot,
No, I'm talking 25.
we do, because it's in a separate warrant article.
Jim, what's the collective bargaining agreement?
So because you can't anticipate it passing or failing, you just don't mention it in the default budget?
What was last year's default?
Does everybody understand?
No.
Don't understand your question.
I don't. It seems as though the default budget has a very strict parameter, and I don't understand why. And I'm sorry if I have to keep having it explained, but I don't understand why what goes on the ballot isn't what we see now. I know, and you wrote a good article. You were almost spot on, but not quite.
Well, we have a history of people writing articles that are off base, but that's a different story. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I think I can.
I am.
Can I try?
Bobby?
Can I just make a comment? I think our town is about working together and people understanding things the way they understand them, and then trying to help where they can help. And I think it's important for this board to make sure that we are not in. I think, I was waiting for Mr. Deshays to. I think it's important for this board and for any member of the staff in our town to make sure that we are in no way attacking any of our citizens. I think that's important. I think it's proper to be kind to each other. It's proper to be nice to each other. We don't always have to agree with each other with what's being said, but I think that it's important to just be kind, especially to the citizens of our community.
What was not kind?
Mr.
What's
Mr.
not
Chairman.
kind, Bobby?
Tom?
Suzanne? Are you trying to figure out how we get from the prior year adopted budget of $33,858,044 to the default budget of $34,043,647, the difference being $185,000? Is that your question? Is that how? Or is there another?
I'm only pointing out and trying to understand why 33,650,000 that's on the ballot that people use as a number against the request, why now we've got a number that's a couple 100,000, almost more.
More.
John?
And because I said to that person, the town cannot overspend the bottom line.
Mhm.
Now, I guess I'm mistaken.
So unfortunately, I can't pull this up on the screen for some reason, I don't know why. But right here, in this DRA portal, which you have to go through line by line to increase the default budget, starting with, you have a tab for general government, public safety, airport aviation, which doesn't apply to us, highways and streets, sanitation, water distribution treatment, electric, health, welfare, culture, recreation, conservation and development, debt service, and capital outlay. When I opened up this DRA portal for the budget, first thing I was greeted with was a tab at the bottom. Current year adopted operating budget total $33,858,044. When I went in and did the calculations, I backed out the two collective bargaining unit costs for 2026, or excuse me, I added them in to that previous number, the 2025 numbers, and it equaled dead on the default number that DRA has. So what DRA has done is when we roll our 2025 budget into the DRA portal, they see that those are collective bargaining wages that were approved by the voters, and it automatically gets rolled into the next year's approved budget. Now from that point, I've got to go in and make all of those increases for the 2026 year and any of the reductions, so that once the voters are done, we say what was approved, they get an update of this, I don't know what it is, MS budget, and then that is prepared to roll over into 2027.
It's the DTV budget.
So I agree with you. It is complicated, but at the end of the day, the default budget compared to the 33,858 is only up $185,000. So again, I wish I could pull this up because I think it would help to show, but for some reason, it's not allowing me to do that.
Bob?
Yes. I got it.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, thanks. So let's say last year, the budget committee cut $400,000 out of the budget. If we go to a default budget in the following year, that 400,000 gets restored automatically in the default budget. That's why the difference is here. You guys were, I might have been here. So the default budget goes back to the prior year. The prior year's number is
Well, that part I
restored.
understand, yeah.
Right, so if you cut that 400,000, the following year, if you go default, that 400,000 goes back in because it was the prior year's budget.
Can I do another one?
Bob?
Yeah, a quick question for my own edification. If I wanted to determine what the default budget is as far as taxing the people, which is the general fund, how do I do that off of this thing? Do I just take this last page of all the operating transfers out and get rid of them? Because those, tell me how I do it.
Correct.
I want to get to the taxable.
So the last page, electric, proprietary, which is Pop Whalen,
Right.
sewer, water, those are the enterprise funds. So if you were to either A, add up each individual tab going across, to give
Or
you
I
the
could
total,
I could take the total and just subtract out those funds.
or you could do that.
That'll give me the general fund impact.
Correct.
Good, that's what I'm looking for, because that's the one that the tax rate is based on.
19.3,
That's what the people are gonna pay for,
19.3.
Because the gross budget isn't the number that they're running their tax rate against.
no. Yeah, because the revenue.
Yeah. Enterprise funds are not taxed.
John,
The greatest misunderstanding.
John.
Yes, sir.
So strange things can happen. The school budget this year, their operating budget came in lower
I'm gonna do that.
than their default budget by $250,000.
Only a third of it is
So-
discretionary.
And it's because they managed to cut their spending,
That's the total of this stuff.
so that
If I just take-
including all required costs by the state, their budget will be, their operating budget will be $250,000 less than default. So if the voters vote for a default budget for the school department, they're actually giving the school department $250,000 more.
All right,
Paul?
Jim, can you just try something with me, if maybe this will be a failed effort.
That's the number with the tax.
So 33,858 is a number,
Correct.
and 33,650 is the second number, the
No,
distance
no, I
between
know
those
that,
two.
I know that, but I was trying to get the taxable budget.
Okay. The distance between those two numbers is 208,000, roughly speaking.
So if I do the same thing for the default budget, then let's see what we get.
And that 208,000 is made up by what? Collective bargaining agreements
So there's two collective bargaining agreements last year.
equals 208,000.
And, yeah, it's not,
And then there's, no disrespect to the term, there's cats and dogs, and small numbers in between. So
Equals. What's the new budget? Taxable.
So the 2025 budget that we are operating from is 33,650. What Jim, or what the portal does, is it pretends that 208,000 was put back into 2025. That elevates the number, because that's now the new default budget. So if the voters were to say no, tell me if I'm wrong, Jim, they said no, we'd be sitting at 33,858,
Correct.
okay?
Yep.
So it just kind of, because the collective bargaining agreements are legal agreements, if we approve them, if the voters approve them, they'll go back and roll them back into 25, and that then becomes the new platform of which the 26 obligation agreements, whatever, get parked on. So it's 208,000 between the two numbers, which is the collective bargaining, 96 on one side and whatever it was on the other.
That doesn't include the insurance kick up though too, right, Jim?
And it does not include
does it?
insurance. No,
For the collective bargaining?
it only includes property liability insurance. It does not include health insurance.
Bobby?
My question is off that a little bit. The 377, that DRA approved, is that in here for the
It is not.
appropriations? So where does that end up on?
It's not applicable to 2026.
Bobby, that comes out of the savings account.
No, I get that, but,
Bob?
I mean, they approved, when did they approve it?
They approved it December 28th, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it does not apply to the 2026 budget proposal at all.
Bob?
It's paying to, it's
Bob?
paying to make,
Excuse me,
you weren't done.
I wasn't even, he recognized me. Just for edification purposes, the taxable impact on the default budget, in other words, the general fund, which is what we get taxed on. Last year's default was 19,259,661. This year's default budget, if it happens, is 19,640,668, which is about a $400,000 increase. Default budget, what? Taxable default budget.
You'd have to subtract the revenues from that. Right.
There's a lot more.
Just coming up with a number.
I arrived at 19.3.
Yeah.
Jim, the big question I guess I have, and probably the voters has, is if this passes, this default budget, or our budget doesn't pass, what are we going to see for cuts in services? Do you know off the top of your head, or do you have that, any idea?
Well, I think there's a differential of $2.2 million. I think that was what the number was.
2260892, roughly speaking.
There are going to be serious cuts to services. There will be positions which will be eliminated. I have reached out to the collective bargaining units regarding options for health care. Those have not been terribly fruitful. We are researching other options for health care. Unfortunately, we have a very high loss ratio, so we are not very attractive to any other providers. Another default budget will be, there will be a feel out there. You know, I hate to say it, you know, these guys are here tonight asking for additional funding, but for the town of Wolfeboro, it's about a $40,000 day on July 4th.
Right.
Between overtime, fireworks, etc. There's going to have to be a conscious effort made, a decision made, whether or not that goes forward. There's going to be conscious efforts made. You know, right now there's a policy out there, 2 inches of snow. You have somebody out there plowing your road. Is that going to get changed to 4? That's not going to make anybody happy. That's not going to make anything any safer. Are we going to have to shutter programs? Strong possibility of it. Are we going to have to shutter offices a day a week? Strong possibility of it. Now, I would also sit here and say, if we land in another default budget, I will be begging the Board of Selectmen for a second town meeting. But you guys have seen this budget. I'm open to where we're going to make substantial efficiencies.
Yeah, I think it's pretty lean and tight. I think if we explain to the people, this is the reason we're not health insurance, the raises, factors like that we have no control over. I think that's important that we explain that to people, especially the health insurance, big rise in that. All right, any other questions on the default budget that's been provided to us? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not seeing where you're getting the 2 million. I'm seeing that our budget committee right now is sitting at the 35,740, and the default is sitting at the 34,043. Where are you getting the 2 million? What did I miss here? That's got me at $1,697,308.
All right.
I calculated two, it was my boo-boo. I'm showing it about 2 million difference. But that was my spitball.
Oh, okay, so it's,
The difference between 1.6 and 2 is, yes, 400,000.
no, I just
That's
didn't know
pretty
if I got something wrong here, that I missed a number. So it's really not 2 million. We're talking about $1,697,308. My question now is, because now we've had 2 defaults and we're looking at inflation for the rate for a municipality, and what is that calculated out from our last? Did anyone look at what we're talking about for each year of where we would be had we sort of passed these budgets with going along with inflation? Are we below? Are we above? Has that been calculated out? Because I think that might be a good number for the voters to see that we're probably significantly below where that inflation rate is. You don't think so? We should calculate that.
Any more questions on the default budget, Bob?
Just one thing to that, Bobby, you know, your baseline is 2023, right? So, your baseline sits at the 2023 budget.
That's right.
We go into 2 defaults. The cost of everything goes way up,
Yep.
and we're scraping, or Jim and Select Board and this committee has been scraping to try and keep us on track. But at some point, you're going to lose the battle. You know, if you want to maintain services as they are, you can't keep doing defaults. It's simple as that.
Can't catch a diving knife, falling knife, doesn't work.
So, Bobby, I did do some of those calculations. So today's, other than what was just changed tonight,
Yeah.
today's proposed budget compared to the last voter-approved budget in 2024 it shows an increase of $2,610,000 or 7.84%. The 2026 Budget Committee budget before tonight to last year's Budget Committee's budget is reduced by $33,722. So you actually have a proposed operating budget in 2026 that is lower than 2025's proposed operating budget. 2026 Budget Committee to 2025 voter approved, increase of $2,260,000 or 6.72%. 2026 Department Head versus Budget Committee, down $145,000. 2026 Budget Committee to the Town Manager's budget, down $1,169,000, and Budget Committee to Select Board has gone down $111,000. So I have run some of that stuff. I haven't done a comparison to CPI or anything, but if we went back to 2024, it's a 7.8% increase.
Yeah, the inflation rate's been running at about 3.1 annually, so we're really talking about a really slim situation. And then, from what, Tucker said the other night, I'll say it again tonight, I think, we here in this committee, I hear everybody realizing that this budget is tight, but it's workable. And if we go into default, it's gonna be a catastrophe, at the very least. So, I guess it's up to us to sell it to everybody. And point out what, I don't like to be a doomsayer, and I certainly I would not like us necessarily to present this proposed budget as what do I want to say, as an alternative to a catastrophe, but maybe that's what it's going to take. I really don't know. I don't know what's going to get the public's attention at this point. I just don't have a feel for it. But this is a good budget. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this.
Right.
It's a good budget.
I agree.
Okay, anything else on the default budget? We'll move on then to warrant articles. How are we making out on those, Jim?
So the board is meeting tomorrow afternoon to do their final review of warrant articles. Right now, the warrant articles as they sit, if all warrant articles and the operating budget were to pass, then this is a very quick and basic calculation before I've got this into the DRPA portal and confirmed. But it looks like all in, the tax rate would go from 321 to 378 if everything passes.
In 2027.
In 2026.
26. Oh, okay.
Tax rate is set in the fall.
So that's about 60 cents per thousand?
67.
We're at, I think it's 80 or 48 and change per thousand, I think is what our assessed valuation is right now.
But 378 to 321 is a 67 cent.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was your question, Bob.
So 67 cents per thousand, you're saying? 60 cents? Okay.
If everything passes.
If all the warrant articles go through, 67 cents, that's what this pile represents.
As it is now.
Okay.
The budget represents $3.14.
Oh, 2014.
3 what?
314.
Didn't you say we're at 321 right now?
Right now, the 2025 tax rate is $3.14. Or 321, I'm sorry.
321.
So the tax rate would go down?
Huh?
The tax rate would go down if the budget passes?
No, because we gotta add in all the warrant articles.
Well, I know, but right now, if it's just the budget, we're just talking the budget. Well, the 321 has all the warrant articles in it from the previous year.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So if you want to present apples and apples, you go to the 378 number, which has got all the warrant
Let me see if I
articles
can
in
get
it
this thing
proposed.
to open up.
321 to 378.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Which is a 67%, 67 cent difference. Okay. So what are all these gonna cost me? Let me do let me do some multiplication.
Okay, so we'll have the warrant articles complete by tomorrow night when we start our,
So, right there. That is, it didn't come up? Well, I apologize, I'm not sure what's going on here with the technology, but
Yeah, I screwed up, it's 57 cents, not
Not-
67.
cooperating.
Three 378 minus 321 is 57 cents. My esteemed colleague over here reminded me that I botched my manual math. And I appreciate his comments.
Thank you, Paul. Tom?
When does the music stop on submitting warrant articles?
Tomorrow afternoon at 5 PM.
5 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, so 57 cents. What's gonna cost me?
Okay, any questions on the warrant articles? Any questions on whatever we've got, moved so far?
Just
I
one
got,
quick,
I got,
one quick question.
Oh, hold on just a second. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm sorry. We will be voting on these tomorrow night, right?
What's that?
We will be voting on these tomorrow night? Is
Yes,
that
after
correct?
the public hearing will be, yes.
Thank you.
Suzanne?
yeah, while you mentioned warrant articles, I'd like the board to know that I will totally be abstaining from anything to do with the levy.
Okay, appreciate that, thank you.
John, I finally was able to get that up. I haven't, this is just, I just did this before I came in, so there's some adjustments that need to be made, but the data points are correct. The 2026 estimated tax, that's supposed to be 2025. This is supposed to be 2026 estimated for, if everything passes, 57 cents. Here are your warrant article impacts right here, including your operating budget. And then there's one petition warrant article that I'm aware of right now that has a financial impact. So that summarizes the warrant articles right now.
So Jim, that one at the bottom is in the 321 calculation?
It is not.
Is not. So that one down below, if the select board were to adopt it, that calculation would go to 323.
Correct.
I'm sorry. Down below. It would be
380.
380. Thank you for pointing it out to me again, Frank. 380.
So, I guess,
Well,
I was hearing a number of 836 on the tax rate. Where did that come from? Where did that go?
So that's all four entities. School,
Oh, okay.
County.
This is just municipal. Thank you.
County.
Gotta remember there's those other things that go on.
We're the collector of monies for other people.
So this basically, I mean, the 836, which is all inclusive of everything, but this is the one we're really concerned with, is this guy. Because the other things are not part of our purview. Okay, all right.
yeah, but that 378, that includes all the warrant articles, right?
Right, yeah,
What would it be if just on the budget as it stands?
321.
Or
Oh,
314?
314, right there.
314.
Don't think my pointer's working. Operating budget, 314. Ignore this.
Okay,
Don't pay
okay.
attention.
Operating budget, 314.
Those are still there, though. Those are the warrant articles that we're gonna deal with, all the ones that are listed.
Those are the warrant articles right now. The Board of Selectmen have, I think it's 5 of them to vote on tomorrow night,
And none of
before
the
your
figures-
meeting.
None of the figures to the right are correct.
No, ignore those.
Okay,
Ignore those. Those will be corrected tomorrow.
okay.
So,
Go ahead, Suzanne.
so it's in flux as to what the warrant articles are gonna be? Will we have that for tomorrow night? Will we get that chart sent to us as corrected for tomorrow night, or that chart?
The Board of Selectmen are meeting at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon to finalize warrant articles in anticipation that any could come in up to 5 PM. They will be voting on them. I will, at that point, be updating the presentation and providing you a summary page as to how they voted.
And those numbers will reflect the change that they make tomorrow, if any?
Correct.
Bobby, I'm
I
sorry.
have a question just on the, and I know you guys discussed it at the select board meeting, but I want to understand it. The tennis courts, to redo the tennis courts, what line item did you pull that out of in the budget to put that on warrant?
It was a capital outlay. It was not actually a budget item. It was a capital outlay behind the budget.
So that's never been in the maintenance?
It's never been in the budget.
Okay,
It was considered a capital outlay similar to Barry's maintenance at his MED building. It was a standalone one-time appropriation.
okay, thanks.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I have a question about the petition warrant articles. If they are submitted appropriately and officially, and then they are on the ballot, and the vote is in favor, then it proceeds. Like they hold the same weight as a selectman warrant article?
They do not.
They're advisory.
So they are advisory. It's the select board's discretion as to what they would like to do at that point.
Okay.
And it might not be that we don't think they're needed, but it might be that it's not fiscally prudent
Right.
If there's money attached to them.
if there's money attached to it.
Yeah.
Understand, you guys have to weigh in on petition warrant articles as well that involve money, as do the board.
Non-monetary advisory stuff, no.
No,
You guys don't, we don't.
no,
They just go.
they just go.
Okay.
But regardless of how they're worded, they're still advisory in nature to the select.
That makes sense.
And we collectively can't offer any changing of words. It's theirs. So, it's the way it goes.
On the floor you can, but
Well, somebody could,
That's it.
not us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? On warrant articles. Okay.
I have one more.
Yes, Bobby.
Did you, you're doing your final votes tomorrow, this select board, so the few petition ones haven't been voted on yet? Okay, thanks.
Well, none of them
Nothing.
None.
No, I know, you were
will be-
waiting for Dave. You were waiting for Dave to come back before you voted.
Yes, for all the warrant articles that we had not voted on already.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only petition warrant article with money attached to it is the one that's on the screen, which is for the, to hire a consultant to examine our municipal government.
One other quick question. Jim, the revaluation has been fully implemented?
So this calculating of the tax rate impact is based on the 4.8 something billion dollars. So that is signed, sealed, delivered. And I think you'll see in the estimated revenues, we increased that number to 175, thinking that there could be more abatements, if I remember correctly, as a reduction, potential reduction.
Okay, we all set with the warrant articles. Final budget review.
So I have taken and done what the committee has asked. Please be careful with the staples on these. Their packet's too big for the regular stapler and it's too small for the big stapler, so you could get a staple in the pot. If you do, please
bad.
report me and send me home.
32.
So I'm working on finalizing, and it's not in here, the upfront presentation that you received previously. But this kind of lays out, starting with the operating budget, I'm having a conversation with New Hampshire DRA about the possibility of putting in, like we do with the collective bargaining agreements, general fund, water fund, sewer fund, electric fund, Pop Whalen fund, as bullet points within the warrant article. I'm not sure where they're gonna land on that, but I have initiated the conversation with them. 2024 operating budget, 2025 operating budget, and then 2026 proposed, right down to where we're at now, which I'll have to update based on activities that took place tonight. Pie chart breaking out the percentages. This thing isn't working again, is it?
We have it in front of us.
We have it in front of us.
The 19 challenge.
Huh,
Is it freezing up? You wirelessly connected?
no.
Plan?
So you have the slideshow in front of you anyways. And then a slide showing the proposed versus the approved versus the increases and percentages, with an asterisk noting that those are paid through user fees, not taxation. So that top number is what is used for taxation.
How about that?
The next page shows out the 2026 versus 2025, the differential. I have not updated the drivers. I'll get that done tomorrow. And then, like I said, I'll get this all incorporated tomorrow, that presentation that we had early on. Give some revenue information, and then it breaks into the budget as you guys had asked, so the way we've traditionally done it. So that lays this out right through the entire budget.
I thought the fire side would be more than that. But that must be, how many positions is that, Jim, on the ambulance?
Didn't hear you, Joe.
I'm just wondering how many positions that is on the ambulance. Is that just like 3? I thought it'd be a lot higher than that.
So, those numbers are broken into the ambulance total, John.
Okay.
So that's where that resides. The fire budget was taken down by the board. And if you recall, for the past couple of years, we've been trying to get the 12th firefighter on board with the default budget. That has not been successful. That was tied into the ambulance warrant article. So when you look at that warrant article for the ambulance, which is actually $182,000 and some change, that's where that money, a lot of that money combined with the 745 commingles. And you have, I gave you last week, the breakdown of that warrant article, all those warrant articles showing where that money is going.
Shouldn't the budget drivers also include the increase in the insurance, the health insurance?
Yep, it should, which, yeah, 311,000 or 11.9%.
What page did you drive that up on?
15. But that will be obviously a budget driver
Okay, so that'll show in this slide.
of the drivers, yep.
Thank you.
What's causing it?
That will show, the 2026 collective bargaining costs will show, the ambulance staffing that were hired last year will show. So those are the big drivers.
Okay, great. Not the big drivers, but I'm glad we can show that to the folks.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mark, go ahead.
I wanted to ask when we were back on the pulling out POP, I'm a little curious, just because I'm worried that, you know, our budget's gonna pass and then you're gonna get to POP because people are gonna see that 32.93% and they're going to not vote for that. So that's a genuine concern. My question is, because this is pulled out, if this doesn't pass, but the budget passes, does this kind of mean no means no? I just want to make sure, because I know if it was a default budget, we'd have something in the old budget to take care of it. But if the budget passes and this is a no, what happens to POP?
When you say the budget passes and this is a no, what do you mean by this is a
Well,
no?
these are being pulled out into their own separate warrant articles. Is that
No.
not correct?
No, they're going to be on the warrant as the whole budget. But what I want to do within that is just identify where those monies are going.
Oh, you're not pulling them out.
We
You're
have decided
giving
not
an-
to do independent warrant articles.
Okay.
I think Jim just answered it.
He did.
There was an ask
Yeah.
earlier, do you want to have independent warrant articles for all the funds?
Okay.
At least one person sitting over here thought that was not a good idea. But what Jim is trying to do is show us the layer cake, of how this all gets made up into the big number.
Okay.
But you vote on the big, they vote on
Okay,
the big number.
I guess somewhere along the way, I didn't hear the fact that we weren't going to do these separately, that we were going to keep them.
We never voted.
They're asked.
So, okay, thank you.
So I guess the warrant article, you're wanting it to say, this is the town budget, these are the enterprise fund budgets, this is the total, this is the net operating budget, this is what is voting on, and this is the increase, the cost of the tax rate, approved and not approved.
And I don't even know if they'll let us do it.
But if they let us do it, that's the way you're trying to explain
You're trying
it
to
and be
know the
more
layer.
transparent to the
And not a
citizen.
revision.
Correct.
So along those lines, starting with slide 29, I guess, or maybe just emphasize that again when you're on that slide, or add wording that says,
Like the waterfront, for example.
yeah, well, from 29 to,
Yeah, so Justin, what we traditionally do, and I ran out of time, point blank. We traditionally will have a standalone slide for the water fund that breaks out those costs.
well, I mean, all the enterprise funds,
Yep.
from that slide forward.
And that they're not, no tax rate impact.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to critique, I mean, I think this is great, but just hammer it home every opportunity.
Yep.
Well, I think the people that are presenting those, namely Bob Tuffer, he's the one that's gonna make that point abundantly clear, right? What point? The one where we don't get taxed on the ones you're doing.
I am. I'm going to, my plan is to identify what is taxable and what is not. And about 40% of the budget belongs to the enterprise funds, and there's no tax on them. I'm going to speak to that.
I figured you would.
How'd you know?
I know your history.
Is this what the budget committee is looking for?
This,
I'm happy.
from my point of view, this is right on the money.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody, I can't speak for everybody, at least me, in the Public Works Department, looking at the various departments within the Public Works area, just having the bottom line, if you will, of the total department, and then being able to verbalize about the drivers, that's exactly what I was intending to do.
Bobby?
So my question is, like, John, when you, like, I'm library, so I'm page 26. When you hit page 26, I just want to make sure that I'm not just going to say 729,000. Like, I just want to make sure that I will actually talk about that 17.5% to make sure the citizens understand what the real drivers were of that.
Yeah, let's give some color.
Just
Yeah.
making sure that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
In 2 minutes.
Order that much?
I was going to say or less.
or less.
That does bring up a point, though, and I think we ought to maybe talk about it a little bit. From a department point of view, is there kind of a, in our heads, or in your head, John, or in anybody's head, kind of a time limit as to where each one of us wants to spend on our area of responsibility? I mean, we don't want to go on for half an hour, and then the next person go 5 minutes. I mean,
I think the town manager is 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, I would also sit here and say, let's use a little bit of common sense, right?
You want to get home.
I mean, if for example, the fire department budget is reduced, but the ambulance budget is an increase, obviously we want to spend a little bit more time explaining the ambulance budget. So obviously I think that the budgets with those larger increases help personal administration be able to spend a little bit more time speaking as to the nuances of what we've been dealing with health insurance. It's going to take more than talking about patriotic purposes.
okay, all right, I understand. So it's going to be in the eye of the beholder, but we want to keep it limited.
Yeah, depends on when you want to get home.
Drivers only.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of what I think.
Brian, you still with us? Thank you.
If I recall, there was not a handout ever at the deliberative session.
There usually is.
Okay. But it's, I guess, I don't remember it that well, so I apologize. But can we do narratives on the bigger items, that pop out? To your point, the fire going down, but the ambulance going up, can we have a little narrative? And I know we're gonna cover it verbally, but people learn and absorb information in different ways, so.
So I would have no problem with that for the deliberative session, but I need to have that information.
Quickly.
Yeah, I'll have you a date tomorrow night, but we're in okay shape right now. But obviously, putting narratives in is gonna take a little bit of time, not much, but I just need to have it in a deadline, which I will find for you.
So what would your deadline be? Because I'm looking at limited notes, but some notes, and I can give you the notes attached to this baby here, so you can just do what you got to do.
Why don't you just read what you've got, talk about it, and put it on a slide or something like that. I think that would be better.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Basically, what I'm saying is
Yeah.
talking about the high points.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it
that
the
would be
third,
good.
is the deliberative session the third?
Yes.
I would want them no later than the morning of the 28th, which is a Wednesday.
What's he asking for?
So we're not going to do that.
What's that?
So we're not going to present any kind of slide.
You can
I
send
thought you just want us to talk about it verbally.
Yeah, when we get to your particular department, then you'll talk about the increases, decreases, what's going on in the department.
Right, so you don't want a separate slide from us.
No, just go with what Jim gives us. Paul?
Yeah, and I apologize,
No, we don't do the
and also for Jim.
We're going to send
Uh,
our notes,
on both
notes
parts.
that we would.
It sounds to me like Justin's saying, hey, maybe what we should do is write up something, attach it to this document, and at the deliberative session, pass something out.
Well, does this get passed out?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that was your first question when you said the stuff get passed out. So your idea would be attach it to here and then pass it out. Is that kind of?
And that's what I think you're saying you need them by,
And-
so you can update this.
Yeah,
thing.
because, I mean.
Now I turn around to Jim and say, are you expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 emails coming in your direction, or are you expecting the budget committee to collect it all and then send it to you as a narrative? Which one do the two you want?
It really does not matter to me
Doesn't
one way or
matter.
the
So
other.
free
The
flow,
only thing I will
7:10.
say is, I will send a note to you all with a deadline, and if I don't get anything in for that deadline, it papers down, because we gotta start printing the 350 copies that we make.
Follow-on question, John?
Yes, sir.
And I'm not saying this because nobody would ever do this, but if you don't have a narratives on all of these, are you gonna pull them all, or do you, or not? Because it could disadvantage one that doesn't have a narrative on it.
We'll be
Especially
there all
the big,
night.
especially the big important ones, right? The big important ones. If it doesn't have a narrative, somebody may look at this and say,
Yeah.
I didn't write anything.
I mean, just to expand on it, I watched on a flight the last 3 or 4 years, the deliberative session, and one of the consistent comments, that people commented on after the budget was delivered was, why don't you tell us what these changes are? And he did, verbally, but I just think if people had it in their hands, a description on why something is, going up 11.9%.
So I think there's an agreement there. I think the question I was asking is, how do you want to get all of those narratives to him? And he said, send me 10 emails or send him the group. That's all.
Well, I was thinking that the increases or the decreases could be done by each member, whoever has that department. I thought that would be the easiest way.
That's, I think what we're suggesting is each
Yeah.
individual person
Right.
email Jim with, by no later than 1/28.
We have another meeting scheduled, Winfrey, Leanne.
Ooh, okay, so we have a meeting at 6:30 tomorrow evening
6:30.
prior to the public hearing.
Yeah.
If the board chooses
That
to
was
meet.
6.
Then we
No,
have
I
the public
thought it
hearing
was
at
6:30.
7 o'clock
Did it get changed? Because we thought it was 6.
Nope.
tomorrow
That's it.
evening.
Yeah, Something of the things.
Okay, so tomorrow evening is 6:30
Okay.
at the Great Hall prior to the 7 o'clock public hearing. Then, on Thursday, an extra meeting was scheduled at 6 o'clock at the Great Hall. And then if the public hearing is continued, you will have that start at 7 PM on Thursday, the 15th.
John,
Yes, Suzanne.
we have to be careful that this narrative doesn't drag too long into the evening. So I know some budgets and some responsibilities to some of you are larger than others, but I think we should put some kind of, in our mind, some kind of time frame on how long we go. If you want to explain it to the nth degree, we'll be there all night. So I think you have to pick out the hot button topics within your department, the ups and downs of it, and summarize. And I would suggest, I don't know what a time frame would be for each. I don't know how long it took last year for John to go through page after page after page, but I certainly wouldn't want to go longer than that. And I would have to go watch the video from last year to time it to see how long it was. But we don't want, with all the warrant articles, we don't want to be there all night going through. I understand that you need to explain. We're trying to do better every year. But don't get stuck in the minutia.
Yeah. Bobby.
Well, there aren't 38 articles this year, so we're good. We don't have 38. But the other, I just want to point out that getting caught in percentages too might be a bad thing. You might have a pretty small budget that might be looking that it went up 20%, but it's a really small number. And then you might have a really large budget that only went up a couple percentage points, which could be a significantly larger number. So I think getting caught up in percentages and explaining to the public that percentages might look scary, but that's not really that large of a number, I think is important also.
Well, then, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, it being a public hearing, are we anticipating taking comments from the public or questions from the public throughout? Or do we hold off until we're done presenting everything and then take questions or comments? Because you could get into a pretty lengthy discussion
Right.
on certain
Anyone.
issues. So to keep things moving along,
Yeah, if I could add to that, I'm totally confused between deliberative session for the public on the 3rd and all these public sessions that we're talking about. I mean,
The public hearing is when we present the budget, okay?
to the public?
Right.
And they're sitting there?
Yeah, and then deliberative session, that's when the moderator runs it,
Okay,
and he goes through each warrant article, and then we do the budget
okay.
as part of one of the warrant articles. But once we do after the public hearing, if there's any changes, we'll make the changes then, because that's what we're gonna present during the deliberative session.
So then, January 15th, Thursday, says deliberative session presentation. That's not the deliberative session.
I think,
No,
I think we're just talking
No.
about.
We're talking about the presentation
Okay.
Yeah.
at the deliberative session. And what is not reflected on the agenda is potentially any PR that this budget committee wants to do between the public hearing and the deliberative session.
Okay.
So we're just,
I'd like to.
I just see the words and I can't.
Yeah, I'd like to have a
Sorry.
meeting shortly after we do the public hearing, so we can fine tune what we need to do, and not put Jim in a lot of damage or work.
So
For
the
the
public
deliberative
hearing
session.
the public hearing is a dress rehearsal for the deliberative session.
Basically, yeah, yeah.
Question.
Good way to put, yes, sir.
The question still hasn't been answered as to what input from the public and when is going to occur tomorrow night. At the end or during? Or Thursday, whenever it is.
The Wolfboro
At the
budget,
at the end of the presentation of the budget, that's when we'll take questions.
Yes. The
Okay,
end.
so we'll get through the budget with all the presentations and everything, and then ask for questions.
Ask the questions, yeah.
That'll be
Yes.
prior to any warrant article voting?
Yes.
Thank you.
Justin?
Well, he kind of said what I was going to say, but I think, Mr. Black, if I'm understanding, at the deliberative session, we're going to deliver, it's a warrant article, right, the budget?
Yeah.
We deliver it, not take questions in between. We're presenting the warrant article, and then if there's questions, people can ask questions.
That's right, it's done by the moderator. He asks, identifies people, and does the questions back and forth. And at the deliberative session, people can come in and cut the budget. They can cut a certain section out of whatever they want to do. But when we go to the deliberative session, we're going to go with what our budget recommendation is.
John,
Yes, sir.
so, real quick, I hear this, let's put this is gonna go on the screen,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna talk about it. And now we're talking about a narrative. And I think, and Jimmy may agree with me, I don't wanna muddy the waters here. It gets too muddy and you can confuse people.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. Right here with this chart, it says ambulance service total budget, 745, 898. But I have a cheat sheet and it don't jive with this. So what I'm gonna explain with the ambulance, because it's important to explain there's a revenue stream here. That's the biggest thing, I think the biggest driver with the ambulance.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about in this budget, is drivers. We're not talking about the whole thing. That's why I think, I agree with Jim, 2 or 3 minutes for most of us should be sufficient. Just the driver of that budget. So my number, I have ambulance budget, it's 564, 110.
That's net after putting revenues in there.
Right, I know, but this, it goes down, it goes even further. Yeah, I'm assuming this is the right one. But I just don't want to confuse people. They're looking at this part and it says something different, and I got something different. So that's my
Make sure the
concern.
numbers line up.
Okay, let's go through this real quick. Start at the first page. I'll read the operating budget. I'll do the budget request. I'll do the operating budget by fund. I'll do the next slide, the proposed budget by fund. General fund budget drivers. I don't really care with this general fund by series, Jim. It looks kind of small.
it's gotta be updated.
Yeah, I just think it might be confusing for folks. Then we'll do the revenue. Suzanne, you want to do the next one, executive and manager?
What one?
Executive and manager?
Page 11.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
Okay. Suzanne, zoning board, planning board?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, those are easy. Oh, I have a question though on that, Jim can help me out, is the last meeting, somebody questioned about, whereas we're taking out part of the year in salaries, because we have the person 1 day a week for finance, ZBA, and planning board, and finance struck me, and you said, I think, that I asked why more money wasn't being taken out, and you said something to the effect that what it costs to hire that finance person for, I think it's 1 day a week, is equal to a year's salary. Can I see that contract or something that tells me why?
$100 an hour. I will send you the contract.
It's what?
$100 an hour. I will send you the contract.
$100 an hour. And what about planning department? You don't have to do it right now, but if you know that
I think
number.
I've already given you the contract.
We have it.
I don't remember what the rate is, but
Well, it's from Lakes Region. You've
Yep.
got. I don't need it now.
you already have it. I've given it to you.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clarify, Jim? John?
So if I take that $100 per hour, 1 day a week, 50 weeks a
$800.
year, 8 hours a day.
LRPC is
John?
95.50.
I think the question that was asked, Suzanne, and I think you might have asked it, or John may have asked it, is there any extra budget dollars between now and the time you think you're going to hire a new planner that could be sent back, pulled back?
That's what started, yeah, that's what
Okay.
started the
Not an
question.
annual number, but is there extra money? And I think this person over here, the town manager, said, we're good at the moment. I think that's what was said.
It's fine,
That's right.
but what's the number?
95.50.
Excuse me?
95.50
Baby,
for the planner.
we're good at the moment.
95.50.
Okay.
Okay. Suzanne, town clerk. Suzanne, finance, budget.
I'm doing town clerk too.
Yep. Assessing and tax collector. Suzanne?
Well, you doing some of general government?
Yep. Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Oh, boy.
You folks wanted to do things differently, and that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, but I don't wanna do the whole thing.
Well, that's, you're not doing the whole thing.
Keep it short, too.
Jim, one thing on the planning, I think we need to move something from, I don't know what page, it's page 16. Planning department total budget, I think that has to go a little bit ahead. Under planning board total budget, does that belong in there, or where does that belong? Is there a difference between the two?
Yes.
Yes, there are two, there's planning board and then there's planning department.
Okay. Suzanne, I'll do town clerk and,
Well,
and,
does that include the code? Is code officer and planning
So,
department?
no, code officer actually falls under safety, but I think I put him behind the, I'm not sure where he is. So, yeah, he's in his kind of standalone area.
okay.
What page?
20.
So we're on, this is where we're on legal.
Uh,
Are you doing legal personnel? Not really for personnel. Are you doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do legal expenses, personal administration.
Hey, hold on, you skipped around. So now John's.
I'm on page
15.
Yep,
15,
what happened to tax collector?
Suzanne.
Suzanne. I'll do, let me see here, 16. Brewster Building, I'll do that stuff on that page. I'll do cemeteries.
Hang on a minute.
Yep.
Brewster Building comes under Public Works. You want to do that one?
What's
Just
that?
Just so we don't break them. We
Why
want to take on Brewster Building. It makes sense to me.
Is that part of Public Works?
Well, it kind of is. But I've already done some work on it, but it doesn't make any difference. It's not much of a department anyway.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and take it out? I'll get rid of it.
Yeah, just send me your notes. You've done some work on it.
Yeah. I'll send you an email.
Can I
But if
clarify,
you
please?
Yes,
take
Bobby,
it,
I'm
that's
sorry.
fine.
Is planning department on page 16 going to Suzanne or you?
I'm going to do that.
He's doing all of page 16.
All of page 16, thank you.
I'll do all of cemeteries, liability insurance, technology. Then we get into police department, that's Tom Bell. Communications is Tom Bell. Animal control is Tom Bell. Fire department, Bob Mulholland. Bob, you want to do public safety building?
Oh, yes, I got all 4 of them. I believe.
Okay. Oh, God, they put,
That's
co-
general government.
put when you move it around like that. Jim, does that code, does that have the extra $10,000 in it for a new program?
Does.
Okay, I'll do codes. Health officer, I'll do health officer. Welfare budget, I'll do welfare budget. Public administration, public works, all that stuff, that's Bob,
That's me.
okay? If you guys want to jump in and do anything, be sure and let me know, yeah, we can do that. You don't, if you feel left out.
Also, page 22, John.
Okay, so the public
21 and
works,
22 is me.
okay? Okay. Agencies, I think that should be Justin. I think that's a good fit for him.
Do that in 10 seconds.
Okay, Parks Administration, that's Justin. Parks Maintenance, Justin. Beaches, Justin. Abenaki, Justin. Hockey rink. Who do we have the hockey rink?
Justin, are you?
Justin, feel comfortable?
That's general fund, right? Hockey, I can do it,
It's
but
Can't do it.
that's 100,000, oh,
We
that's,
can't do it.
Oh, that's,
You shouldn't.
you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob,
Bobby, you can't do it because
What?
you can't do it because you do.
Well, I curl, so
Well-
I mean, like, I think anyone who,
So,
Yeah.
I have a pitch hitter.
I'll be happy to do
Mr.
it, but-
Mr. Tuffer.
Mr. Tuffer, want to do that? Okay. Hockey rink, Bob T. Community center,
Out of general fund.
community center. Anybody want to do community center?
I'll
Got
do
good
the
knowledge?
community center.
Bobby, okay. Bobby's got community center. How about town dock, Bobby? That's one of your favorites there. Want to do the town
Why
dock?
isn't Town Dock's my favorite?
It's one of your favorites. Do you want to do that? Do town dock?
Whatever, probably.
No,
One thing.
I don't.
No.
I don't. I just, you've had an interest in that. And you've done a lot of research. No. Not tonight, it didn't. Okay, then Bobby has the whole library stuff.
Who's doing town dogs?
Bobby. Conservation, Brian, did you raise your hand?
You're doing my thing?
Brian?
Did I?
Conservation?
I can, yeah, I can read it.
Yeah. Economic Development, Brian.
And, who's doing the library, John?
What's that?
Bobby.
Bobby is, yeah. Oh, gosh. Patriotic Purposes, Fireworks, Libby, and Clark House. You want to do all that, Suzanne?
No, I don't wanna touch the Libby.
You want to touch the Libby? Okay. Anybody up for the Libby? Bob? Bob Tuff? You want to do Patriotic Purposes, Fireworks?
Patriotic purpose.
Yeah, Fireworks, Libby, and Clark House.
Come on. I'll take patriotic purposes, please.
Fireworks,
Justin's taking the
That's Justin.
I'm involved in that.
Yeah,
Justin,
that's
do you
Parks
take
and Rec.
Patriotic?
You want to do those, Justin?
That is.
I'll
That's
take,
Parks and Rec, yeah.
All four?
well, Tuffer really wanted to do the Libby.
We don't know yet.
Not me.
Okay.
Who ended up with that?
Justin, can you do all four?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Who's doing that, Justin?
Okay, debt service and intercompany transfer, that's Bob Tuffer.
Money thing.
Water personnel administration, that's Bob Tuffer. Water technology, Bob, you.
Yeah.
Water fund, Bob. Electric fund, Brian.
Which Brian?
Brian Black.
Hey, John,
Yes, sir.
I was,
No, he was
I
doing
originally had the whole four enterprise funds.
Oh, you had all four?
Yeah.
Okay.
that. Brian's just doing the electric
You?
department.
You got all four.
Well, where was the electric department budget? Is that, oh, here it is right here.
So
Jumping ahead.
31.
Bob T's gonna do,
You're gonna do all four?
He's gonna do all the fund balances.
so I don't need to do.
Yes, that's Bob Tuffer.
Yeah. You want to do the enterprise fund?
Okay, so you'll do the electric fund budget, right?
Bob Tuffer.
He's doing the budget, electric fund budget?
Electric fund,
Yeah,
electric fund. Isn't that the fund, the enterprise fund? The
Hey,
electric fund?
John,
yes, sir.
I was gonna package up the enterprise funds and, into one statement, and after speaking tonight, I realized I gotta go home and
Okay,
pack
you
in
wanna
my,
do, you wanna do everything, sewer, water, electricity?
Yeah, I have in mind what I wanna say, and I figured I had all of them, so.
Okay, good.
Water, sewer, electric, and pop.
And,
2
yeah,
minutes
water,
each.
sewer, electric, and pop, yep.
2 minutes total.
And then we'll do the ordinance, right?
Ducks and bunnies.
By the way, Bob, Mr. Tupper,
Yes, sir.
welcome back.
Yeah, we gotta,
I gotta change my phone number.
Amy wants to do it.
So Brian is on.
Someone's
No,
window.
he's gonna get picked up a couple more.
I don't know.
Let's go back to page 23. Add Justin, let's put Brian Black there. Justin's, page 23, which is agencies. Justin's got a pretty full. Yeah,
So put Brian.
yeah. Agencies.
Thank you, Mr. Black.
Oh, the agencies?
Yeah. Okay, do we have any questions? You'll get to see as a participant how different it is to have the picture behind you when you can't look at it.
Yeah.
And try to describe it, so. Yes, Bob?
I agree with Suzanne. We have to be very stingy with our time, and so we don't stay there all night tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
It was 2 hours and 7 minutes last year.
Just doing the budget?
That was the
That's everything.
hearing, the public hearing.
Everything,
That's the
okay.
everything.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Brian?
Brian?
Are the selectmen gonna be in attendance for the public hearing part to be able
And we've
to,
noticed the meeting,
what's that?
we have noticed it as a meeting. At least one select person that I know of is gonna be there in addition to the two of us. I can't speak for the other two. But we've let them all know that the meeting's noticed, if they wanna show up, they can show up.
You'll be there should a question arise or during the public hearing part of it to help support what we're saying.
I can only speak personally, I support this budget that's going forward. I think what Jim built, what we did, what you've done, the distance
Right.
between all those budgets is pretty, it says that this is a good piece of work.
Department heads have been asked to be there as well.
Yeah,
That's right. And if we get a technical question, I think it's going there. That's my personal thought.
It's your
Yeah,
game.
that's
It's
my.
your budget.
Any way you
Yeah.
can make up.
It's your budget, you're presenting it.
Congratulations, Paul, for
I'm
everybody.
gonna email you
Paul,
Can you print it?
tonight.
you didn't use minimus.
I mean,
like-
put-
I didn't.
Break down, yeah, break down
Good show.
who's doing what.
Now you-
He'll come up with another word.
Sure he will.
I can give him.
You know, again,
I don't want to
I'm
put
just gonna
extra
say
work
this-
in you, but is there somewhere we can, if you got the PowerPoint, can you send it to Leanne where she can type in who's doing each
All right, I
slide?
already noted it, I will have it all done for tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so, yeah.
Okay,
One
so we
quick
all
question.
set on the,
No, one quick question.
yes, sir.
Are the numbers on here valid?
Yeah, the only one that I have to double check is the community center. I will go through and double check everything, but that's the only one that's jumping out at me that it might be wrong.
Well, and then we have to have
So,
the,
we
we
can
have to have
take-
the
we
money
can-
back in for
Patriotic
patriotic
purposes.
purposes, but it's level funding. So it just goes back to level funding.
So we can compare these to the budget you emailed out yesterday, right? Now, if there are any differences, we can do this ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the gross budget will be different because of that
Sure.
action this evening, but,
Right.
you know, for all intents and purposes, this year is good, and what I will try to do is I will try to get this sent out by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning with names, updates, et cetera,
Oh, appreciate that. That'd be great.
for you guys to review. I
Appreciate it.
won't print it again, though.
No. It's up to you guys and your printers at
I
home, yeah?
I will be printing copies, but they won't be to this size for
Okay.
people in attendance.
Okay. Good.
Okay, did everyone have a chance to move on to review the town report for the budget committee?
That's good.
Any changes or any?
Just black and white without the color background, be easier, quicker, cheaper.
I just have a couple of the third paragraph. It says for Wolfeboro, is 836. I'm wondering if that should be changed to was. Very small little things. I'm not sure about the Harold Parker, Bob Tuffer thing being in 2025, because I think Bob Tuffer was sworn in 2026, but does he still count?
But he was appointed in 2025.
So I just want to make sure that that's not, just quick question. And then the last paragraph, the paragraph above 2026 proposed operating budget, capital after the first sentence, capital W in where. And then,
Go slow, give her a chance.
sorry,
Okay, what was that last
on
one?
the first page, there's
Yep.
just it just needs to be capitalized. That's all, in
Oh.
where. So it's just two grammatical small mistakes. And then the other thing I'm wondering is if this should be added in here.
What page?
I'm asking if something should be added. If the $1.2 million unassigned fund balance buy down should also be in this report, or is that in a different report?
Oh, yeah.
I don't
didn't
know
talk
if it's
about that.
included in the board, it would be a board of selectmen decision to
I
have
agree.
done that.
Yeah,
I
we
agree.
didn't,
Have they done that yet? Have they done that?
We haven't talked
They
about
did
it.
it for 2025.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Find out, you make that decision later.
Okay.
Are we
Well, I
later
think
then?
this has to go in.
Well, the report's for 2025, so.
We did it.
Mhm.
So she's going to be included.
Should you include it in your package?
Okay, does anyone have any problems other than what Bob you mentioned? No.
Yes.
You did it.
Yes, sir.
It's a small issue, and just, I don't know whether in the third paragraph it talks about the town of Wolfeboro reevaluation, yada, yada, yada. And it also talks about the tax rate is 836, and we've been talking about a 321, and we need, I think that needs to be, what do I want to say?
Unpacked.
It needs to be unpacked.
Yeah, but then I can't say.
Because
that
we're
we've got
looking at
this-
836, and we're looking at 321 up there, and people are going to get confused again.
Right, but then it doesn't show that we've got one of the lowest tax rates in the state.
I understand that, it's just that the 836 is a number and the 321 is another number, which one's the right number? If we say that 836, I think it needs to be expanded to say that 836 includes the municipal, county, and school tax.
School tax.
Needs to be,
And,
needs to be defined.
and, yeah,
I agree.
can you do that? Does that sound good?
So just in parentheses, add,
Yeah.
includes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parentheses, it just needs to be explained.
County, what, county, school, and town?
Local school.
Local school is like 2 words, like, keep it together.
It should have SWEP too in
County,
there too, right? SWEP's part
Local
of that.
school, and what else?
County.
County, local school, and what else?
School.
Swept.
I think it's called school
Oh,
on the tax
local,
bill.
comma, school. No.
I
I'm
will
sorry.
send you the
Sorry.
breakdown
Okay, yeah,
of
you
the
just,
tax bill.
thank
Bobby?
you.
I think
Sorry.
it's school, local school, which is the swept, municipal, and county.
Yeah.
I think that's where we are. I don't quote.
I think there's one more on, I think, another school one. Bobby, go ahead.
No, I don't have.
You all set? Bob Tuffer?
I think you could word this something to the effect of that second sentence. The tax rate set for Wolfeboro, including county and school district, is $8.36 per thousand.
Local education, state education.
There you go.
I will forward you the link.
Yes,
with
local
the
education,
breakdown.
state education, county,
And count, yeah,
and municipal.
it is 836.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Jim, can we vote on this tomorrow night after the, before we start the meeting, when we get the cleaned up copy, make sure it's all set? Does that give,
The
Amy enough
budget,
time?
yeah, the budget and the, this,
The town
oh,
report is
the town
absent.
report, sure.
Okay. Any other changes?
Are we including Bobby's, what Bob, I need to know. whether or
No,
not-
because they felt that was a select
Oh.
board thing, even though it did bring down our tax rate. So I don't know if that should be part of it, especially when we're talking about a tax rate, because it did buy it down.
That's why I'm asking. Are we including that in this report? Or is the selectmen including it in their report?
I can't remember if it was in our writing or not.
Do you recall, Jim?
You know, you can parenthetically just say, a personal opinion, you can just parenthetically say, the select board took a decision, you can do that. But that's your call.
Right.
You didn't take a decision, we did, you can just parenthetically write it.
I will say something, when you say to citizens, we bought down the tax rate, they don't know what that means,
Yeah.
and how it happened and what it did.
Well, that's why, I mean, I think the citizens should understand that $1.2 million came out of the unassigned fund balance to help that, bring that tax rate down.
1.25 million, $1,250,000 of previously collected taxes were returned to the citizens to lower their tax burden.
Yeah.
That's the way that someone will understand that we are giving back money that was collected. If you say, we bought down the tax rate, $1,250,000, they don't,
Right.
they don't know what that means, and they shouldn't, and they don't have to. We have to explain it to them.
I'm not telling you what to say, I'm just asking the question, should it be in here as a review of what happened with the budget? That was
Too
my
much-
only question.
More information is good information sometimes.
If it doesn't relate to the budget process, then it doesn't need to be in here, and this does not relate to the budget process.
That has nothing to do with us.
That is a town manager, select board decision, period. There's nothing to do with the budget
But
process.
it does relate to, we have a whole paragraph here dedicated to what our tax rate was, and
Right,
that
but
was part
this
of
isn't
it.
based on, this tax rate is based on 2026. We didn't, that 836 has nothing to do with the
No,
1,250,000.
this is
25.
25, this is a 2025 annual report. It happens after.
Okay, is there a motion to add that to the report? By anybody?
Well, I'll motion to add it to the report.
Okay, is there a second?
Second for discussion.
Okay, what do we got for discussions?
Yeah, I think it should be briefly noted, whether it's a footnote or however you choose to do it, but that was a big deal.
I personally think it should go in the selectmen's report.
Okay, roll call. The motion is to add $1,250,000, the amount of money that the,
Unassigned fund balance.
okay, I can finish it, thank you. That the selectmen use from the unassigned fund balance to cut down the,
Reduce taxes,
to reduce the taxes,
tax rate.
tax rate. Roll call, please. 2025.
Brian DeShays.
Oh, me? Yes.
Yeah, you. Bob Tuffa,
No.
Bob Mulholland,
No.
Justin Brown,
No.
Bob Lohman,
No.
Tom Bell,
No.
Brian Black. What? No? John McDonald.
No.
Suzanne Ryan,
Yes.
and Bobby Budman.
Yes.
Okay, so there's three,
I think it should be assigned.
seven. Seven, no,
Is
3 to
there-
7, yeah, 3, yes.
Thanks for the
7.
conversation, we'll make sure that we catch it on the.
Yeah,
on our
it
side.
was your
Thank you.
I
activity, it was
appreciate
your
that.
activity.
Thank you.
Make sure we stick it on our side.
And highlight it.
We will.
Okay, the motion fails. Okay, budget presentation. Everybody knows the meeting schedule. And now we'll move on to public comment.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to explain that to people. I don't, I'm Karen Burnett.
Can you come up a
I
little
have-
more?
I
so
have-
can hear you.
I have no idea why putting a footnote in and explaining that isn't so simple and helpful. And if it's repeated in more than one place, every person out there will tell you, when you educate people, you have to say it more than once. So if it's in the town manager's report and the select person's report and the budget committee's report, it does no harm, it only helps. So I have no comprehension of why that, it's a sentence added on a piece of paper. That makes no sense to me. During the discussion tonight, I listened to the number that was given, and I heard $35,740,000 and change. Apparently, that's not the number. That was the number that got subtracted that came to $1,882,000. But it's apparently not the correct number because this report says over and over again $35,910,954. So I know I'm not allowed to ask questions, but to me that's a big question. What's the difference in those numbers? Because the number is repeated numerous times, and the 35,740 was repeated numerous times tonight. So I don't know what the why there's a difference, but it seems to me that's important to sort out. If you take the number that Suzanne gave, which was $33,650,000, and you subtracted from the default, which I understand to be 33,858,000 and change. You come up with the difference that was given by Paul, I think, of 208,000. But then if you take the 208,000 and subtract the 185,600, which is what you said was the actual difference, there's a difference of 13,560. Now, Jim had said that the difference between what was in this, what the state had when you subtracted out, was exactly the same number as the collective bargaining, which says to me there's no other contract that carried forward that had a change in it, just the two collective bargainings. Because I know you get to add the other, any contract that has an increase, but the increase was totally explained by the two collective bargaining agreements, which was set. So I find it interesting that there's no other contracts than that, but I assume that the difference between the 208,000 and the 185,600, which is 13,560 approximately, is the difference in debt, because you said it went down. So the debt payment went down by $13,500. Now, if I look in the packet, well, I'm not going to find it, but I think you need to be able to explain those numbers. Just as Suzanne had said she didn't quite understand them, and I think I understand them, but they don't seem to add up correctly. So the proposed budget, which I wrote down as $35,740,000, compared to the default of $33,858,000, produces a difference less than $2 million, which was your point, that it wasn't over $2 million, which was the first calculation. It's $1,882,000, which is, I don't know what percent, but perhaps the reason why the first calculation was $2 million is because we're working off of this $35,910,000 number. And if that's the case, again, I don't know why the two numbers are different. I think it's confusing if you say the major drivers of the budget are collective bargaining, I get that, ambulance service, and health insurance, if that were to be said, which was a statement made. The health insurance that I understand, if I remember the conversation correctly, that's built into the proposed budget is only the 10% increase. It's not a 24% increase like this year. Now, because it's not a contract, because it was indicated that the health insurance 24% isn't included, I assume that it's just 10% over what was in the default budget. And if that's the case, then it's not a major driver. It's a 10% increase on the existing number. The ambulance service is confusing because you've got two parts of the ambulance service. You have costs that you've incurred that have increased because you've hired people and purchased equipment or whatever, but then you also have it in the warrant articles. So it's going to be really confusing to people to understand it's a major driver in both the operating budget and in the warrant articles. And if there's a way of distinguishing that, that will be helpful. And then given the fact that the collective bargaining is last year's collective bargaining, not this year's. So you're accounting, you weren't allowed to include the collective bargaining for 2025 in the 2024 default budget, but you can include it in your 2025 default budget, which says that this year, anything that's negotiated for this year, which is 2026, is not in the budget. I asked that question earlier, so I'm now clear about that. But people are not going to understand, they're going to be as confused as I was, that what you're talking about when you say the default budget gets to increase by that collective bargaining agreement, it's not the collective bargaining agreement that kicks in for this year's pay, it's the collective bargaining agreement that kicked in for last year. And I think that needs to be really clear, because if you get another default budget, you're going to have the same problem you had this year, which is you have these salaries that are going to increase based on the collective bargaining agreement, but they're not in your default budget. So that causes a double ripple effect. All right. The difference between 2024 default budget and the proposed 2026 budget was explained to be $2,610,000, or a 7% increase. If I understood the point, the two budget points. Well, so the 2024 default budget was $33,300,799. And the 2026 proposed budget is either 35,910 or 35,740, one of those two. I don't think the difference between those numbers comes out to 2,610,000. So I think I have the wrong points of reference there. But if anyone's going to use that as a point of trying to get people to understand there's only been a 7.8% increase in the budget between 2024 and 2026 proposal, I would make sure that those numbers come out the same. All right, so then the present tax rate of 321, and then the one that was explained as 314. The tax rate doesn't actually go down, so I would warn against saying that, because in the calculation for the present tax rate, it includes the warrant articles, and the one that you're comparing it to is only the general operating fund. So the 314 is, you're not comparing apples and apples, you're comparing apples and oranges. So one number includes the default budget plus the warrant articles, and the other one only includes the budget. So you can't, I would not make a reference to it going down. Now, so what you would say is that the present rate is 321. If all of the warrant articles pass, then the rate would become 378. You can't predict anything else, because it could be any combination of between the two numbers, depending upon what warrant articles pass. But I just think that it's really, there were some comments that were made and references that were made that are going to confuse people. I also think that it does not help to say, it's obvious, this is so clear, and you should just understand it, kind of comment. Because to somebody else, it's not obvious, and it's not so clear. And to make that kind of a statement is just going to make them mad, or is just going to offend. This is not, you've spent hours at it, and you've spent years at it, but to somebody else, these things are not clear. So I know this is not a handout, thank God, because there's many things in here that I think, but I think in every place where anyone is talking about 24, 25 operating budget, it should always be footnoted with default. I think people need to be hit with that over and over and over again. This is not what was proposed and people wanted. This was what was happened because people voted down. You have to distinguish it. If you make it sound like this is just, oh, last year we passed this budget, and the previous year we passed this, that's not the case. So I think it's really important that that be repeated over again. And I think that it's really critical to have language in here that allows you to distinguish the general operating fund from the enterprise funds. So this, for example, says all funds. Okay, fine. You call them all funds, but you really want people to really only be paying attention to the one, because in theory we're saying to them they don't pay for the others. Now, I think if you're going to say that though and have them and make a comment like this, paid through, and that's misspelled, but user fees, not taxation, you have to put the two exceptions in.
What page?
This is 7. You have to put the two exceptions in the footnote, because otherwise people don't think you're being transparent, and people think you're trying to, say that this is paid for when it's not. So there are at least 2 exceptions, right? There's the sewer capital projects we know are not included in the sewer fund, and we know that the Pop Whalen debt is not all included in the Pop Whalen fund. Now, I don't know about the ice time issue. I'm not even going to try and deal with that. But it would take very little to put those as part of the footnote so that those people who know that see that you're being upfront about those 2 exceptions, or 3 exceptions, depending on what they are. But in all of these cases, and then you lose me in years. If you get to this one here, page 8, it says proposed 2025. So am I trying to compare 2025's proposal to I don't know what the year span is here, but it's referring to up here the 2026 proposed and the 2025 approved, and again I'd say default, but down here it's referring to 25 and 24. But then when you get to this chart here, it only goes up to 25. So I don't understand what I'm supposed to understand about the proposed budget using this chart, because this chart is just 2017 to 2025. So I think, I think that, yeah, thank you.
Are you coming tomorrow night?
Well, I would just like to defend myself a little bit here and say, I think I made a statement when I handed this document out that it is in very rough draft.
Yeah.
And the fact is that there is a lot of work that needed to be done to it. I needed to get it out the door to you this afternoon, and Brian saw me printing it at 5:25 this afternoon. So I will not provide documents more timely until they have been proof.
I appreciate that, Jim, and I'm a little surprised that, I don't know who provided that incorrect information to the public, who that was, but it wasn't anyone over on the side of the table. Bob?
Yeah, John, we're still not done. The select board still has to approve warrant articles tomorrow, and they might not.
Right.
And also, possibly before the young lady arrived, I believe we added money to the operating budget for the veterans. So that completely skews up all of this print work. So, but a couple of things you mentioned I think were incorrect, and that's it for me.
Thank you.
John?
Yes, ma'am. Paul?
So I take away from what Jim said, and I agree. I mean, some of the stuff is in rough format. One thing that I think we all are not going to disagree about is having a common understanding of what's the numbers. There really only should be a couple, and no disrespect to the comment made, but we should have a couple of sets of numbers going back maybe 1 or 2 years. You guys decide, you folks decide. But we all got to get common language on those numbers, and that's where you start. Because other than that, it could very easily, I think, degenerate into a number debate. And that's, debating the data is not what you want, I think, debating data is not what we want to be doing at public hearings. We want to be debating merits of budget.
Yeah, well, I think if you're gonna debate the data, you should have the correct information. And I don't think a lot of the things that were said by the previous speaker was absolutely correct.
And I'm not doing that as a signal or a message to anybody. I just think that I've, have been around the block enough times in my former life that data debating gets awfully goofy, especially when you have a lot of people in the room, because they're all mostly right. What you want to do is get common understanding of all the numbers you're working on. And tomorrow night, hopefully,
Thank you.
Oh.
Bobby?
I think I heard something completely different. I heard that an engaged citizen got up before us and pointed out that we're not being clear. And I think Paul just...
We're not what?
We're not clear enough. And I think Paul just pointed that out. And I don't think it's an attack on us. I think that it's feedback. I think it's constructive feedback. And I thank you for showing up. Thank you for letting us know that there is feedback out there from the citizens and that it's our job as elected officials to take that feedback and make sure we're presenting to the public correctly. Thank you.
I got two things. Bob, you've been on this board a long time. Have you ever gotten information like this the night before? No, I won't say ever, but it's not customary, I don't believe, to get all this the night before the public hearing.
That is correct, Suzanne. However, between back then and now, we've had a number of people go through town hall, and we've had a few people that didn't hang around too long, and that's possibly what created just a lack of experience contributed to this.
I'm not looking for excuse, Bob, I'm looking for just an answer. Do you customarily get this stuff
Well, we used to get
late?
stuff, there's no question about it, we used to get stuff beforehand. However, Pete Chamberlain was here for like 20-something years, and Dave Owens spent more than 10 years here, and they probably had more help too. So I think it's just a question of I think we have a problem with employee retention. I think that's our
Thank
big
you.
problem.
My second remark is addressed to, what's her name, Carrie?
Karen.
Karen. My second remark is addressed to Karen. And this is not meant to be flippant. You're good with following this stuff. I wish more people could follow it and grasp as much as you've grasped. I would then say, I'm not signing up next year. I hope you do. Thank you.
John?
No.
Yeah, Paul?
Yes. I'd like to ask that when you're all done with your deliberations and things of the year, that you pick up on the observation made by one of your members, the rhetorical question of, isn't it a bit unusual that stuff shows up at this particular point in time? And I'd ask, if you wouldn't mind, send to the town manager and whomever else, what you think we should do different next year.
Start earlier.
Then if you could write down on a hunk of paper what you think we should do and not just have it was in the minutes, that would be terrific, John. I'd appreciate some concrete examples of what we could do differently.
Well, it's gonna fall back on you guys, because
Sure.
we can't do anything until we get your stuff.
So, maybe what we do after this is all said and done is go out and have a cup of coffee with each other at the leadership level
Him and his car.
and figure out how to do a little quality improvement. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, appreciate it. Okay, we're almost done. Minutes of December 9th, 2025, any changes?
Move to
May I make a
approve.
motion?
Yes, Bobby? Yes, Bobby?
Just do it.
I would like to make a motion that we put these off because we just received them and I quite honestly have not had time to read through them, and I feel like I need more time to read through them to actually make a vote, and I don't know if other people feel like they haven't read through them yet also.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? The motion is to postpone the draft minutes until our next meeting, which is,
Discussion.
okay, until the meeting after deliberative session, after public hearing, I'm sorry,
January 15th.
January 15th. Is that okay with you, Bob? Can I
Yep.
change your motion? a
January
little bit?
15th, straight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Roll call, please.
Brian Shays,
Yes.
Bob Tuffer,
Yes.
Bob Mulholland,
Yes.
Justin Brown,
Yes.
Bob Lohman,
No.
Tom Bell,
Yes.
Brian
Brian Black.
Brian Black,
Yes.
John McDonald,
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan. Yes. And Bobby Button.
Yes.
Motion passes. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So.
Second.
You
Second?
didn't want to vote.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning at this time?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.